The third degree ended in a grave. A master murdered, a word lost, and in its place, a substitute, a stand-in, carried by men who knew it was not the real thing. This is the room that loss left behind, and most people think the Scottish Rite truly begins here, at the fourth degree, the first one the Rite calls its own. Notice how it begins. Not with a celebration, with an empty chair, a draped altar, and a question no one in the room can answer. The work has a corpse at the center of it. This is the Lodge of Perfection, degrees 4 through 14, the Rite's first long answer to the wound the third degree left open. 11 degrees, and they are not 11 separate lessons. They are one story told in chapters. The Loge du Perfection, the first chamber a mason enters above the 3 craft degrees. Together, they are called the ineffable degrees, and that word is the key to everything that follows. Ineffable means unspeakable. At the center of this whole part of the rite stands the name of God, the true name, the one whose correct pronunciation in the legend was lost the very moment the master died. To call these degrees ineffable is to say the terrible thing out loud, that the one thing the entire rite is built around is the one thing no one can any longer say. So the Lodge of Perfection is a search, 11 degrees hunting for a name. And this is the seam where the two traditions finally meet. In the United States, the Scottish Rite proper begins right here, at the fourth. The 3 craft degrees are left to the Blue Lodge, and a man joins the rite at this door. In the continental tradition, the REAA, the rite has carried him the whole way, degree by degree, and simply keeps going. 2 roads to the same chamber. Either way, the door the third degree opened leads here first. The first 5 degrees live in the immediate aftermath, and they share one brutal question. When the master is dead and the word is gone, how do you keep building? Each degree is a different answer. The fourth makes the candidate a secret master, guardian of the sanctuary left empty, sworn to duty and to silence. The first virtue the rite asks for after the catastrophe is not vengeance. It is fidelity. Stay at your post. The fifth, the perfect master, raises the dead man a tomb. Grief is given a form, a monument, a place to put the loss, because a wound left shapeless festers, and a wound given a shape can be carried. The sixth, the intimate secretary, is a story of loyalty under suspicion. A man found where he had no business being, his life suddenly in the balance, who turns out to have been faithful all along. Its lesson is the cost of trust, how easily zeal can look like betrayal, and how much depends on telling the two apart. The seventh sets provosts and judges over the work, impartial justice among grieving, frightened men. Before the killers are even found, the rite insists on the rule of law. Justice first, as a principle, before justice as a hunt. And the eighth, the intendant of the building, puts the tools back in their hands. Superintendents are appointed, the work resumes, order and charity return to the site. The temple will be finished, not because the grief is over, but because the work does not wait for grief to end. 5 degrees, one virtue running through them. Fidelity without reward. The men who keep laying stone for a temple whose architect is in the ground and whose crowning word no one alive can speak. Then the Rite turns to the killers. 3 degrees, the Ilu, the elect, and they are the most cinematic stretch of the whole arc. A manhunt that goes underground. 9 are chosen to find the assassins. 1 is run to ground in a cave by a spring hiding in the dark. And here, the legend does something deliberate, far more interesting than a simple capture. One of the 9 reaches the cave first, and in a fury of zeal, he kills the assassin where he lies, before any trial, before the man can be brought back. He takes the justice into his own hands, and the Rite does not reward him for it. The king, who had ordered the man brought back alive, is angered. The killing was just, in a sense. The man was a murderer. But it was vengeance wearing the mask of justice, and the Rite knows the difference. This is the moral center of the entire Lodge of Perfection. Not the satisfaction of the kill, but the warning folded inside it. Zeal that outruns judgment is not justice. It is the very thing justice exists to replace. The 10th degree completes the pursuit properly. The remaining assassins taken, tried, and judged. This time by the law, and not by a single furious hand. And the 11th rewards the faithful. 12 of them set in places of trust, chosen not for their anger, but for their constancy. What lingers is not that the guilty died. It is the burden the Rite lays on the man who killed without waiting. The weight of having taken justice into his own hands and found it heavier than he expected. Justice that knows its own limit. With the killers judged, the Rite returns to building, and then it goes down. The 12th degree makes the candidate a grand master architect. The craft becomes a science again, geometry and design, after all the grief and the blood. But it is the 13th and 14th that the whole arc has been driving toward. And to understand them, you have to go back, long before Solomon, before the temple, before the flood. The legend tells of Enoch, who walked with God, and who was given a vision of the true name. Enoch foresaw that the world would be destroyed by water and one day by fire, and he could not bear that the name should be lost with it. So he built downward. 9 arches, one beneath another, driven into the heart of a mountain, and in the deepest, the 9th, he laid a triangular plate of gold, engraved with the true name of God, the Tet Ru Gram Aton, and set it upon a cube of stone. Then he sealed it, and let the world forget it was there. The mountain was more Ire, and centuries later, when Solomon's workmen dug the foundations of the temple on that same mount, 3 of them broke through into the dark and found Enoch's arches. They went down, arch by arch, into a vault no living man had entered, all the way to the 9th. And there, in the dark beneath the unfinished temple, they found the plate of gold, and on it, the name that had died with Hiram. The 14th degree, grand elect, perfect and sublime mason, is admission to that vault. The candidate is brought down into the secret place, and the name is restored. The wound from the 3rd degree closes. The search that began at a grave ends in a vault, with the lost name shining on a plate of gold. And here you could end the story. The name is found, the master is avenged, the temple will be finished and crowned. But the Rite will not let you end it there, and this is the most honest thing about it. What is recovered in this vault is recovered inside a temple, and the temple is mortal. The name found beneath Solomon's house is the name of that house, the first temple, and that house will fall. When it does, the vault collapses, the plate of gold is lost, and the name goes down into the dark a second time. So the Lodge of Perfection gives you back the old word, the name of the temple that was. It is a homecoming. It is not the end of the road, because the loss comes again, and the next answer is a different kind of answer entirely. Far up the degrees, after the first temple falls and a second is raised on its ruins, the Rite stops searching for the old name in the ground. At the Ros Cruar, the 18th, it speaks a new word, for a world after the temple. Not the name recovered, a word transformed. That is the Lodge of Perfection, degrees 4 through 14, the first complete arc of the Scottish Rite. Loss, search, and a recovery the Rite is honest enough to call temporary. The name comes home, and the road keeps going.